much for taking out your time. This is the smallest closed group networking session of TiE Chandigarh, and it is the 17th edition. We've done 16 events before. Each month we do one event. We have with us Varush, who's a budding entrepreneur. We have with us a great example from the region, Kshitij, who's doing very well. And we have Mr. Chadha, who's already an established entrepreneur, and he's the elder brother of Varush. So we have Sanjeev Jaggi. Sanjeev is into reality business, very organized reality. And we have Nidhi and Nisha. Right? They are budding entrepreneurs, and they are coming up in the domain of events. So they'll be managing events and setting up a new company. And they would also like to learn how to set up. It's their first steps. We'll appreciate guys who can interact with them and also help them. We'll start off with you, Kshitij, and we'll give you 10 minutes to share your journey, how you started.
Okay.
Be very truthful.
Practically
correct.
Yeah.
So and then we'll give opportunity to Varush, and we'll have some questions we'll ask you guys.
Okay. My journey my journey with Chadha, how it started. I was working in the education sector since last 6 years, I guess. I got a job offer in Delhi, and I was supposed to join the company on 25th of January. I still remember the date. 25th of January 2010, I'm supposed to join this company, and 24th January, I'm having a cup of coffee with a CA friend. In the evening, he said, I'm going to start up an institute in Chandigarh. I said, okay, nice. So, do you know how to market your institute? He said, no, I don't know. So, he said, why don't you do a freelancing job for me, market my institute in Himachal Pradesh, and then you go to Delhi and join your company. So he said, why don't you do the marketing for me for like a week, and then you go to Delhi and join your company. He said, okay. I went to Himachal to do his marketing as a freelancing job, and while doing his marketing, I realized this thing that, okay, this is the need of the region, that Chadha, what Chadha does is we conduct workshops into schools where we counsel students what career option they should take up as per the psychology. As per their psychology, as per their socio-economic needs, we tell them what career options are there, which are the best colleges in the country, if there are any scholarships they can take up, we tell them that. So during this marketing, I got this idea that, okay, I have to do it, but then I needed a basic capital to start up my business. I went to Delhi, took up the job, worked for this company for 3 months. During this period of 3 months, I did my research, contacted Himachal Pradesh government, because we are on panel of Himachal Pradesh board also. So all the government schools of Himachal Pradesh, we counsel those students. So I got my permission letter, then I resigned from my job, came back, started Chadha. I still remember first 15 days of Chadha, I used to up down from Delhi to Chandigarh. सुबह 4 बजे यहाँ से बैठता था लोकल बस में. 8:39 I used to reach Delhi. 9 o'clock जो ऑफिस वहाँ पे भी छोड़ा नहीं था, नोटिस पीरियड था, वहाँ पे 9 से 6 तक पढ़ाना. 6 बजे बस में बैठना, यहाँ पे 11 बजे पहुँचना, 11 से 4 बजे तक यहाँ पर टीम के साथ काम करना, और अगले दिन 4 बजे सुबह फिर Delhi. क्योंकि पहले 15 दिन वैसे थे कि हमें क्लाइंट भी फेच करना था एडवर्टीजमेंट के लिए, और वो जॉब भी नोटिस पीरियड पे था. So we get our first client. We advertise colleges into booklets.
So when you say we, sorry to interrupt, who were you all?
Now we are 4 people.
What was at that time?
At that time there were 4, but then they left.
Okay.
3 of them left the organization. In fact, when someone asked me that we have to form a team and we have to start up a business, the suggestion what I have in my mind is that there are 2 types of people. One is who work like you,
Yes.
right? One is who think like you. Always work with the one who thinks like you. Because the earlier 3 who were my partners, they used to work like me. They were like workaholic. सुबह अगर उनको 6 बजे भी बुला लो तो 6 बजे भी आ जाएंगे, रात के 11 बजे तो काम कर रहे होंगे. लेकिन उनका विजन उस टाइम पे Chadha ज्वाइन करने का था कि we will make good money. But then initially in any business.
So what was your income for the first 2 months?
First 2 months.
I'm very curious to know.
Okay, we got our first check that was for 7.5 lakh rupees.
In first 2 months, you got your first
check 7.5 lakh rupees.
Now how much did you save?
कुछ भी नहीं. क्योंकि हमारा मेजर एक्सपेंडिचर यहाँ पर होता है, हम ट्रैवल बहुत करते हैं. So every day we are in new city. We are taking a hotel for the whole team. We are conducting a workshops there, and so वहाँ पर बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपेंडिचर है. So धीरे धीरे जब पैसे नहीं आ रहे थे, they were like क्या पैसे नहीं आ रहे, क्या करें. I was like कि ठीक है, तुम देख लो अगर तुम लोग मैनेज कर सकते हो. मैंने सेड नहीं हमें तो आइडिया सही नहीं लग रहा, नहीं तो पहले शुरू में ही पैसे आ जाते तो आइडिया सही था तो हम छोड़ सकते थे. Then they left.
How old is you, Chadha, now? Sorry.
Sure. It's 2 years and 7 months. I started in February 2010. So
What question you had? Same. Okay.
So उसके बाद वो लोग चले गए. Then I realized that okay, I have to do it. For 1.5 years, I was the only one working in Ushala. I had one office for that.
So from a job, you were doing, that running around from Chandigarh, Delhi, and then you quit the job.
I quit it.
Now it's 2 years old.
More than.
What is the turnover you've done by now?
First year we did it. See, again, I am one who've learned from the mistakes I've committed. I've done a lot of mistakes during my entrepreneurship. A lot. सबसे पहली गलती ये थी कि जो पार्टनर्स थे वो सेम अप्रोच पे नहीं सोच रहे थे. उसके बाद दूसरी गलती ये थी कि मेरे पास जब पैसे आ गए, I didn't hire anyone else. I thought I can do everything. So I was managing my web, I was managing my social marketing, I was managing my workshops, I was managing my travel. I thought सब कुछ मैं ही कर लूँगा. मैं बहुत अच्छा कर सकता हूँ, मैं किसी और को नहीं hire करूँगा.
That's the same story.
First 6 months I did not hire anyone. So income stopped there. That this was my fault. Then I hired someone, but yes, he didn't work up to that level to what I was working on. So I paid him the salary for 3 months, and then I trained him for my work. And after 3 months, he said, "नहीं sir, मेरे से तो हो नहीं रहा, मेरी कहीं और जॉब लगवा दो." In fact, मैंने उसकी जॉब दिल्ली में लगवा कर दी उसके बाद कि भैया नहीं हो रहा तो ठीक है, क्योंकि मेरे काम में सबसे बड़ा इनिशियली ये था कि हमें ट्रैवल बहुत ज़्यादा करना, उतना हर रोज 5-6 घंटे ट्रैवल कार चलाकर और उसके बाद वर्कशॉप्स कंडक्ट करना. अब हम अगर वर्कशॉप्स करने जा रहे हैं हिमाचल में तो स्कूल ऑन रूट तो होते नहीं है, सामान सारा उठाकर स्कूल में लेके जाना तो वापस आना, तो बहुत ज्यादा मेहनत का काम होता था.
So how old are you, Kshitij, now?
28.
28. Good job. We'll take a break with you now. We'll start with Varush. Varush, your journey in a nutshell.
I'll keep it brief itself.
Okay.
So my journey, in fact, started from my college days itself. When I was in 4th year, that was my last year at college, and I had a 5-year integrated course post-graduation from TiE. So I was actually in a great dilemma. There are various options with everyone in a college. So at one end, there was at the end of the college, there is an expectation that you'll join a job in MNC or so. And at the other side, there was a research career which my professor wanted me to do, and I had a slight idea maybe I could do that as well. And on one side, I had joined CAT, which again everybody tries. I also joined, and I was doing fair enough.
Was there family pressure?
It's like peer pressure, I would say. No,
That's his father here. Karan, that's his father.
He has never
Karan is the vice president. Let me introduce you guys. Karan is the VP Access. So it's very informal. So I must,
Hi
everybody.
I'm Karan.
He's the vice president, operations here in this region, and has supported us to do these sessions.
All good.
So thank you, Karan. Okay.
So there was no pressure as such, but again, at that time, I was not sure, what I should do. I had in mind that I want to take up entrepreneurship. I want to do something on my own. But again, the risks and the returns, that was not something I could have taken decision instantly. Finally, I did, drop the job which I got from campus and took up entrepreneurship. But that decision in 4th year was very difficult for me to take up. So again, besides that, I was, my career launcher, my guide there, he pressurized me a lot that you should do, you have a chance, and you should ultimately, you can be successful. But in turn, I was in a great, and at that point, in fact, Dad gave me best advice, I would say. He said that if you were to do something on your own, why don't you try it out? If you succeed, you do it. If you don't succeed, you go back and do whatever is safe option. So that's what I practically did. I dropped my internship there. In fact, I gave a fake certificate of this company itself that I'm doing an internship there, and I did not do anything. I went on starting my business. I built up my online presence, built up the websites, started online marketing, and did a lot of research on whatever, similar companies in Chandigarh and New Delhi area. I explored almost everything about them, like what services they're offering, what are the people they hire, what they do specifically. And after my internship, I kept on doing it for 1 year. 4th year end was my internship, and in 5th year throughout, I kept on doing all that. And fortunately, I was able to secure some business. By the time I came back in 2007 in my hometown, I had around $10,000 of orders in my hand. And then my next step was to build up, my teams and infrastructure so that I can start delivering services to clients.
So it's been how long you've been into?
Basically 2007 I started back officially.
So 5 years.
Yeah, something around 5 years. So, but the mistakes again, everybody does mistakes. So I also did the same. I started in Ambala. You can call it a mistake, or that was the only option I had. I couldn't take so much of risk, so I started at his office, with 3 people there, 1 senior programmer, 2 junior programmers, and the rest was all me. Like his case, rest everything is the sales and the project management, client interaction, everything I was doing the same. So that happened for a few months. Again, as I started business, soon I realized that it looks glorious. It's not that easy to do. Again, so I started facing problems.
Were you inspired by your father or somebody else?
In fact, one of my great inspirations is my dad himself. And though I had interests and doing something on my own, but my main inspiration, you can say, is my dad himself. So after starting up the overall operations, I started facing different problems, and one of the major problems I faced was the talent shortage itself. Because
was it region specific, being in Ambala?
Exactly.
Do you guys agree to that? He was in Ambala, started his business.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find the right talent.
That is actually,
Had he been in Chandigarh, he would have been able to get that.
Yes.
No.
In fact,
Do you agree? Karan doesn't agree.
No, second is.
So what are your thoughts, Karan, on this?
Like the problem which he's faced, I'm in a service industry, so I try to hire, interview 40 people a week at least. And I'm being slightly skeptical, please excuse me. Long time ago, there was this civil servant called L.K. Jha. He said we are producing unemployables. So this lack of talent, what he's talking about is exactly you have qualified people in terms of qualification, but unemployable in the sense that it's not that, like he's saying, it's not that you have an engineer from good institutes, he'll come in. Initially, of course, you do require to train people and put them in the mold, but that kind of investment is too much nowadays, because the kind of people who are coming out are, pardon me for using this, it happened in our time also, but because that time the entrepreneurship or the business development wasn't there so much. हमारे ज़माने में भी I came out of one college, obviously my bank had to train me. But now, considering the ecosystem is such that there's so much of business, there's so much of entrepreneurship, that the institute should be actually coming out with people who are should be readily employed. I think that's what he's talking about.
Very correct.
Sorry,
you're absolutely right.
Second thing is that basically Ambala में talent है ऐसी नहीं है. But the thing is that the people from Ambala, they wish to come out from Ambala.
Yeah, very true. And
अगर इन्होंने अपने Ambala का address local दिया तो उनको पता ही Ambala में है, but they will not apply.
But I think it has worked for him, sticking back to Ambala. Still been good.
no, but we have shifted now. Now we are based in 90.
वो तो है against it करके आते हैं ना.
That was, honestly, that was one of the biggest
Challenges.
Mistakes I did. I was using whatever options we had at that
अगर
moment.
वही पे strict रहते आप तो शायद.
Like the trouble we faced there was that we also did some training, and we tried that let's train these people in Ambala and train them in a way that they also get a kind of good opportunity and we get to do our own business. But what happened was that by the time they were trained, they were seeking more options in New Delhi and Chandigarh, and all our effort was again going waste.
Training people and sending to somewhere.
Yeah.
In this way you become training institute.
That's what exactly happened. That's what I felt, and then honestly I took a decision. No, I'm not going to expand here at all, and I In fact,
Hi,
I took a
Ketan.
break.
Join us.
So I took a break, like I said, that now this business, whatever happens, I'm not going to invest time in the correct thing. And what I did was I started planning how I'm going to shift. I took around 60 to be
In Chandigarh?
no, 40 in Chandigarh, 20, 25 in Ambala, and that's two divisions. The one is finance taxation, one is web and software.
Okay, these two girls, they're setting up their business now. This gentleman with me is the first generation entrepreneur, right? He's been there, he's helped his son, he's also coming up to be a successful model. Now, they had a question, they came to me 2-3 days back, right?
Yes.
So they had a question, we are new, what we should do, हमें event management company चलानी है, हम marketing कैसे करें? And they had all sort of worries, all sort of worries on their face.
It's a good thing that you have
But I like their passion. So at least they were hungry to, hunger has to be there.
Correct.
What do you suggest, sir? Two things. Then we ask Ketan what he suggests, because he's also a very good entrepreneur.
See, my journey in business is also not very long. It will be 7 years. Prior to that, I was also a banker incidentally. I was the chief manager of the National Bank and I left the job. I opted for premature retirement and then ventured into business. That's been a good story. I mean, it has been a good way. To you, I may say that, see, when you decided to do something, of course, you have chosen a good line which has a potential. That's one thing. You look ahead 5 years and see what you are going to do. What is the future after 5 years? Don't look at today only. Project the business future for 5 years, 10 years. And then see whether there is a potential, what is the demand supply gap, whether there is going to be demand supply gap. The opportunities available are going to be more than what the talent is available or what the resources to match those particular potential is available. What is available today and what is going to be available after 5 years or 10 years, whatever you are projecting. Both things together.
Sir, what matters, sorry to interrupt you on this, is it money that matters the need right now or something else?
I'll come down to this also. First is that you should look at the thing that this is going to be the business where there is a potential available for you to enter. Then secondly, of course, you need to see what kind of resources you have, what kind of infrastructure you have, whether you have the needed resources or needed infrastructure which you would be requiring for starting this business. Now this event management company, it can be a big company also, it can be small also. Band Baja Barat. Okay, if it was a small activity, it became big.
We are
But
on the same page.
somebody may be starting right at a stage when they come with a fanfare. They come with all the structure in hand, they come with all the publicity. So you have to decide. You have to decide where you stand and what you will do. Then like resources, then the potential, then the talent. You have that first of all, you have that caliber in yourself where you feel that you can devise new strategies, you can come down with new ideas. What best can you give which is not being given today by the industry? What ideas do you have? Do you have some USP? What is going to be your USP? If you are also going to do the same thing which everybody else is doing, then where is the difference? So ultimately, in order to become successful, you need to have some USP of course. You have it. So these all things you need to decide right at the beginning, not when you start and then you see. Not only these things, there are a number of more things.
There's one more thing I would like to add is that when you start, focus on the sales and marketing part first. It's my personal belief and my personal experience. I did something similar. If you have sales in hand, if you have that ensured, rest everything can be built. Production, team, hiring, whatever, rest everything can be built. But if there is no sales, there's no point to it.
So you need the first customer.
The first is if you can convert a sale, if you can do marketing, if you can generate leads and convert them to sales, rest of the things you have a chance you can manage. But if you can't convert a sale, then there's no point building anything else. So in my case also, I did something similar when as I said, when I was in college, I didn't focus on anything else. I focused on only one thing, which was sales. And specifically, honestly, I explored what other companies are doing in this area and what I wanted to do. And I literally, copied, honestly. I copied that. Initially you have to do. Then innovation comes with time. Nowadays the marketing techniques we are using are a lot different. But initially you have to use what's available in the market. And again, there's a limit on whatever marketing techniques or sales techniques people are using. So that would always be the same. See what your competitors are doing. Ensure your sales first. Build up the rest later.
So the initial thing which you guys should have is passion. The only thing I see is passion.
Yes.
If you don't have passion, you won't look out for other things.
Yes.
So if you have passion for event management, you will look out for sales techniques, you will look out for marketing techniques, you should have passion for this. That's all. Advertise the event mode was after the workshop, we were giving a booklet to the student in which the written form of cursive were there. So we were advertising colleges in that booklet. So when I used to meet colleges and ask for advertisement in the starting stage, they used to say that ये तो possibly नहीं है. This is not going to work. How will you cover the number of schools? I myself covered 76 schools in four and a half months. Conducted workshops there.
That's not bad.
So
At that time you people went to
no, I'm telling you the initial days. They left me in a couple of months. They left me in first 1.5 months. They left. Yes. Whatever the accounts were there at that point of time, they said we don't want to continue. I said okay, we can settle down.
any objection like you are continuing and then you started with them?
I asked them to leave their job and come into a full-time partnership. They said they can't leave the job because it's not safe. They don't trust the business. I said if you don't trust the business, why do you want to continue then? If you don't trust the idea, why do you want to continue then? They said okay, we'll withdraw. I said okay, whatever the payment mode is, we'll make it right now. That is how it is.
Do you have any questions you guys have for Varush and
I have one question. I was listening to your comments on maintaining sales in particular, and I absolutely agree with that. But initially, in the initial stages, there's lack of resources. And being carefully things on well. I mean, I run a software company, and I personally have no intention to just develop or cut code for the rest of my life. I won't go beyond that. But to maintain a level of quality, I have to go in as a resource on some of the projects so that I can ensure. So how do you tackle, how do you keep consistency in the quality and yet manage, the sales and marketing?
Yes, but very good question. I would say very good question. That was the same problem which I also faced when I started. In fact, the first problem which I faced at the start of the 3 months was quality issues and production issues itself. Because at that time I wasn't even, let's say, a good person who could manage the resources as such. So I was facing problems with managing the resources itself, and I had to initially do it myself along with the team. Then I started working on it and built some kind of quality parameters into the system, and that in fact paid in the long run, because whatever team after that expanded on that base platform, it's running till now smoothly without my involvement. Today it's all very delegated, but at that one time I had to really involve into it, go to the deeper level and do the same. And at that time I think it is important that even if we get sales at no profit and we are able to build our quality levels, or at least make a system on which it works on its own without your own involvement, because ultimately the resource which would be always minimal would be your number of hours, because they would be exhausted at the maximum pace. So if you can, let's say, keep working without profit for some time, obviously not for all time, but without profit, and you are able to build a system where your involvement is not there, then you have done your job. So that's what my focus was. I focused for 3 months on this production system, and I was able to set it up in a way that it worked then on my instructions and without my involvement. And at that time I didn't earn, I think, much profit, and he was asking me, where's the profit? I said, no worries, it will come with time. At the moment, I don't know. So he has always been the advisor of numbers.
So Varush, what was your turnover 2 years back, and what are you planning now?
Currently, it would be around about 1.52 crores, and at the start it was, very low. Honestly, I had got the first project, which was, I think $120, 5,000 rupees. And I went with joy and came from office to tell him honestly what was the achievement that I had got the first sale. So that was it also. That was at the time when I was doing the internship. Dropped the internship.
Do you have a question for him?
I have certainly.
Yeah.
In fact, not questions exactly. There's a lot of common problems which he has faced.
Let us address
So I
some
wanted to
problems.
discuss specifically, what recruitment or hiring problems he faced.
I have faced
after-
this problem. I guess I've been discussing this question in TiE events, other TiE events as well, where I've been sitting on that side. And how to find good people. I mean, you can't find good people in these.
But we got this.
What is your definition of good people?
Yeah.
Good people are that, as we said, the quality should be maintained for the work. Plus, again, the resource problem that the quality should be maintained at within our pocket. I mean, I can't pay 50,000 rupees a month salary to a guy to conduct workshops. So that is again a limitation that okay, I can pay an X amount. That in that X amount, a person is doing his job, whatever is required. It's not that he should do wonders or probably innovate something, but whatever is required, that should be done. Probably I have been lucky enough that in this 2.5 years, I have 3 more people working with me now. Rohan is there, Rohan is working with us.
How many of you now?
We have 4 regular people, plus we have freelancers.
How many freelancers?
7 to 8 freelancers.
They are associates.
Yes, they're associates. Whenever we have work for them, we call them that we come over, let's do this project. So, but these 3 people other than me are very good, are really good. I mean, at times I have to raise my bar that okay, standard has to be maintained with them. So they're
So
good.
it doesn't okay is your good people question.
Well,
Would you like to comment? You can comment.
no, because he is very right when he says that good people should be within what I can afford. Because the more you pay, probably the quality, I'm saying probably the quality will be better, but that's a very valid point which the lady should actually pay attention to. See, you got to, I'm just a theorist, so I'm not an entrepreneur. But what valid point he's making is that you know where your financial limitations are. Within that, you have to search for the good people. And there, what you do, see, I'm in a bank, I recruit people, I know what my starting salary is. So I know that I will get a certain kind of, we are in the middle sort of a paying bank, so I know what we'll get. There, in that 15-minute, 20, 25-minute, 30-minute interview, we would like to do a couple of checks. For example, I'm talking of only the banking point of view, not your business point of view. Does this chap actually need a job? Very simple. Does he have an economic need? Because I know 25,000 today is not really a big deal for a starting this thing. Does he really need a job first? What is the kind of background he's coming from? And where or he or she wants to go. About the 3 things we try to judge. Because we get a lot of very well educated, or a lot of them. Nice, coming from very good, in the sense that business families, who for the present would like to join in. I personally wouldn't like to hire them because I know they don't really need a job. See, you need to have a need. What you call passion, I call a need. For a service industry, it's a need. For you, it's a passion because you are the entrepreneurs. But for me, it's a thing. So that's where he's made a very valid point. That apne financial constraint mein you have to actually invest. When you are selecting, my suggestion is you really need to invest a lot of time in that. Use your judgment. You'll make mistakes, hundreds of them. I do every day after 25 years. So that's not an issue.